Hi everyone, so this video is going to be another one about facing your sketchbook fears or trying to sketch more confidently or not being afraid to use a new sketchbook or any sketchbook that you have. I did a video like this before and I just have a few more things to mention because I know a really big problem that every artist can run into is being afraid to use your sketchbook. Because you're afraid you're going to mess it up, or if you do one drawing on it that you're not happy with, then you just don't really want to use it anymore because it feels like you ruined it, or like you'll never be able to do anything good in that sketchbook, or the paper is too good to do messy sketches, which I also feel that sometimes, but the paper I have in my sketchbook is really good paper, and I just do really messy and quick pencil doodles in it, along with a mix of more finished, half-finished stuff. So before I go on with the rest of the video, I just want to say this video is sponsored by Skillshare. And Skillshare is an online learning community. There's over 25,000 classes in design, illustration, animation, all kinds of stuff. And the premium membership gives you unlimited access to the classes. So you can join in on any communities that are right for you and your interests. If you want to fuel your curiosity, develop your skills further, Skillshare is a perfect place to keep you learning and thriving. Something that relates to what I'm talking about today is a class called Sketchbook Illustration for All, Draw Your Day with Watercolor and Pen, and it's a class about sketch journaling, and I think it's a really good watch if you're looking for more ideas on how to use your sketchbook and to really break it in. And this class is by Samantha Dion Baker. Skillshare is also really affordable because the annual subscription is less than $10 a month. So if you want to join more than 7 million creators on Skillshare, the first 500 people to use the link in my description will get 2 months for a free trial. So thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, it really helps me out, and on to the rest of the video. I hope that this advice will kind of help you sort of shake that or get more comfortable using your sketchbook and not being afraid of it, because it should be a place where you're most comfortable drawing your favorite tool. It's where you create ideas and practice and just have fun and express your art without anyone having to see it. Even though I post all my sketchbooks online, most people don't show their sketchbook all the time. So the first one that always helps me fill pages and pay more attention to my sketchbook and just use it without thinking too much is to do a challenge. And actually right now Mermaid is going on, and it's never too late to join in on these monthly drawing challenges. I think I'm going to do a mermaid video eventually. It's basically where you draw a mermaid every single day in the month of May, or it doesn't have to be every day. You can do every other day or every once in a while. You could just do one. I'm probably just going to do one because I am not really interested in drawing 30 different mermaids. I just don't have the time. But any challenge like this, like Inktober, which is one of the most popular ones, or you can set your own challenge and try to do, say, like 50 hands every day or anything like that. Any kind of challenge can help you not think about your sketchbook as a source of fear, and the challenge becomes the more challenging part, I guess, rather than the sketchbook. So you're thinking more about your daily challenge rather than, oh man, I gotta use my sketchbook, and you keep putting it off, and the longer you don't use it for, the harder it is to jump into it. So doing a challenge can help you overcome that. Another thing that I have been meaning to do that is really great to do in a sketchbook is if you're the kind of person that likes to do finished art every once in a while in their sketchbook or even on every page, one thing that can really help is to dedicate, so you know how your sketchbook opens and there's a page on the left, there's a page on the right? You can do all of your thumbnails and your sketches on one side, and then you do your final on the other side. And this way you're using the paper to come up with ideas and do looser stuff, but you're also using it for finals and more finished stuff. So if you're the kind of person that likes to do final art in your sketchbook, but you're a little bit afraid to do looser sketches, this could be a really good way of introducing yourself to that. And loose sketches aren't bad sketches. They're not messy sketches. I find rough art the most interesting to look at because you just get to see people's thought process and how they work and how they come up with ideas, and the looser the sketch, the more personality it has. At least that's how I think. So I love when people use it for both really loose stuff and more finished stuff, a mix of anything. It's really cool to see how different people use their sketchbook. So using half of it for the planning and then the other half for the final that came from all that planning, I think is a great way to kind of break up your sketchbook and use it for different things. Something else that helps me kind of use my sketchbook more and not be so afraid of wasting paper, which you can't really waste paper if you're just using it to draw on. It's never really a waste because all of it, everything you're doing helps you get better, even though sometimes it doesn't feel that way, and I totally feel that. But another way is to do a Scribble challenge or a loose shape sort of thing. So this is basically when you take like a permanent marker or a pencil or anything and draw a bunch of random shapes. They can be contained, they can just be loose scribbles, and then you go back and try to find shapes and forms within all of the scribbles and shapes, and you try to make them into something else. Usually I end up seeing faces, but you can really turn them into anything, like cute little characters, scenes, really cartoony stuff. This is a really fun exercise that I should do more. It's also really useful when you kind of feel stuck with your art and you don't know how to kind of push past your comfort zone and all the stuff that you kind of default to drawing. Doing the Scribble challenge or the loose shapes can really help you kind of draw stuff that you wouldn't normally draw, and it kind of breaks you out of your usual routine, I guess. And this is something I need to remember to do more because it's always a lot of fun, and you can put as much detail into the finals. Like, they can look like finished little doodles and not just be like, a scribble with like a little face. Like, you can really get really illustrative with it, and I think that's a really fun challenge and a really, really fun way to use your sketchbook and to not worry about wasting paper, because you're literally filling a page with scribbles and then going back and drawing over the scribbles. So I would definitely recommend you try that out. It's a lot of fun. Something else that I say a lot is to do studies. And doing studies is probably the least stressful thing for me because it just helps you understand how things work. And it's not up to you to come up with the ideas. You're just basically using life reference or photo reference, and you're interpreting it in the way that you draw and in a way that helps you understand how it works. And a good way to do this is to not get into the details right away. You want to explore the loose shapes and the forms and the geometry of whatever it is that you're drawing loosely underneath as like a rough underdrawing, and then get into the details over top. I find if you try to get into the details too early, it starts to stiffen up, it doesn't look right, and then you don't want to draw anymore because you feel like you just wasted it. So getting better results when you're doing studies always helps to do loose drawings first, but that is, a lot of people know that, that's pretty obvious, but sometimes it's good to have a reminder and also to remind myself to do that, because sometimes I just jump right in and start doing all the detail work, and then because I think I can, and then it doesn't always work out right. So it's always a good reminder. Another way to use your sketchbook that makes you not so afraid of it is to not be afraid to overlap things. Because I do this a lot where I leave a lot of empty space around all my sketches, but I always have a lot more fun, and it always feels so much more natural to kind of overlap things as I sketch. So say you draw a face, you can draw, and you draw something beside it and it starts to get too close to the face, just overlap it onto the face. Your sketches can intertwine with each other and cover each other. You don't have to have each one as an isolated, finished little sketch. Like, they can go over top of each other. You don't have to see where one starts and one ends. That really gives it more of a sketchbook look, and it'll probably inspire you to keep sort of making pages that look like that, because it does give a cool look, and you can color in areas. It's sort of like a collage sort of way of sketching, but not actually collage because you're not gluing stuff onto it, although that is a good way to break in your sketchbook, but that's in the previous video. I talk about that. But just not being afraid to like ruin sketches, to put stuff over top of it, color outside the lines, just let things fall into place where they want to fall into place, and try not to have too much control over it. I know a lot of these things are easier said than done, But the more you put these into practice and the more you try and the more you loosen up, you'll find you're not afraid of the blank space anymore, and you can actually just open your sketchbook and just start sketching, and if it looks bad, it looks bad. You just keep going and you don't let that discourage you. So even if you try this and it doesn't help you, just be persistent and keep going, because one day you will not be that afraid of your sketchbook. And it's never going to go away completely. Like, I'm afraid of using a brand new sketchbook and just like making the first few pages look ugly, and then what if someone wants to flip through it and they see those pages and they think I'm a terrible artist? But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter when you think about it. They're meant for drawing in. They're not like professional quality paper. Even though it feels really good, it is made to be like used a lot. It is made to do like quicker stuff, unless you get one of those really pricey like watercolor moleskin ones. Those I would be afraid of, because I would want to do a finished watercolor on every single page. I really hope these tips helped you. I hope after this you can become even just a fraction more confident with your sketchbook. And if this isn't a problem for you, I hope this gave you some ideas or reminded you of some things you might have forgot about that you want to try. So let me know how your sketchbook is going, how you feel about sketchbooks. I would love to hear it, and other people would love to hear it as well. And don't forget to subscribe and also ring the notification bell, because a lot of my videos don't show up in people's feeds. So if you want to make sure you don't miss anything, make sure you turn on the bell. And if you want to support me on Patreon, I have sketchbook PDFs. I send out prints once a month, and there's stickers and miss your items and newsletters and all kinds of updates over there. So if you want to support me on Patreon, I'll link it above and below. So thanks again for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in my next video.